Welcome back to Spurs Speak with Kesh. We're back here again talking about Tottenham, but this time it's a bit of a frustrating video to make. We all know about the injury crisis that we've had this season and last season. I'm going to be talking about why. First, we'll look through what's happened this season, who's been missing, how many games have we missed, how bad is this injury crisis, especially compared to other seasons. And then on the flip side, what we'll be talking through is why that is. I'll be giving a couple of theories that are suggested by experts, professionals, social media. It's a mix of everything, to be honest. I'll be justifying why it could be something, but also why it wouldn't be something else. Or maybe that it's everything at once. We don't know. So I'll be giving a background of that, giving you a bit of an idea of why. So let's get straight into it. Now, starting off with the context. This season alone, Tottenham Hotspur have had players miss 373 games. That's, if we take the season across the Premier League, that's 38 games in a season. That means we have 10 players missing on average every single game. Do you realize how insane that is? That's nearly 90 more than the second place team, being Newcastle United, on about 270, 280 games missed. It is absolutely insane how bad the injury crisis has been. 10 players a game, and that's not an exaggeration, because if you look through our games from now back to about November, I think more than 10 players have been missing every single game, except for Sunderland, but then Romero got injured, so it meant that there were more players missing. It's been a mess. We've had 37 players throughout the season be injured. Out of our starting 11, not a single one hasn't been injured for at least 4 games. I couldn't even name you a rotation player. Maybe Conor Gallagher. He hasn't been injured, but he joined in January. Brennan before that, I think, was injured as well for a few games. It's incomprehensible how bad the injuries have been. We've had not a single player really be injury free, including Vicario, who's now had his hernia surgery, of course. I I think everyone's quite shocked at how it is. And it's not just that players are injured. I say more than 4 games. A lot of these players have been missing all season. James Madison, Kulusevski, now Wilson Odobert with an ACL injury, Xavi Simons with an ACL injury, quite major injuries, not just small ones. Destiny Udogie, we don't even know. Dominic Solanke missed about 3 months of the season himself. These are first team players who are missing long periods of time over things that some of them we know what's happened, some of them we don't know what's happened in terms of the injury itself. So what is it? Did they need surgery? Some of them did. Solanke needed surgery. I don't think I've seen a club need this many players, or I've seen a club have this many players that need surgery within a 12-month period in world football, period, let alone at Tottenham Hotspur. And that is insane. This is on top of already last season us having very similar issues. I don't know if the games missed were quite the same because we didn't have as many ACL injuries to start off the season, but we definitely had a massive injury crisis last season. There was times we didn't have a back four, right? None of our back four, except for Pedro Porro, he was pretty fit. But other than that, back five, I should say, because Vicario was injured as well. We had midfielders injured constantly. We had attackers injured constantly. And it paints a picture that this is bigger than this season. It's not just this season where it's gone wrong for Tottenham in the injuries. It's been every season for the last few years. So it just begs, what the hell has happened to Tottenham over the last few years? And that's exactly what we're going to be breaking down. And I'm going to start with what I thought was the issue and what would logically be the first thing you think of when you think, okay, you know what, a football club struggling with injuries. Who does that probably fall to? You think of the medical team, right? You think of the team that are deciding when the players come back from injury, what the players need to do to be assessed of their injury on the field. You think about, okay, how is their recovery going to go? What's the best way to bring them to recovery? What's the diagnosis? All those things come into the medical team's purview. So you think it's them. But Tottenham have changed our medical team about 3 times in the last 4 years. That's a massive amount to restructure a medical team. Everyone remembers when Ange Postecoglou was in. I believe he himself went through 2 medical team restructures. So you're looking at 3 medical team restructures, and the issues have got worse. So it either means our recruitment of our medical team is even worse than the medical team itself, which the way we are with recruitment wouldn't freaking surprise me, to be honest, because the recruitment that we have across players as well isn't great. It seems like our recruitment in general is just terrible, including for our medical team. For example, we've seen it twice now where a player with an ACL injury, probably the worst injury you can have in football, was told to try and run it off and keep playing. I saw The video, I saw the match live and I knew Xavi Simons had torn his ACL pretty much the second I saw it. And the medical team decided to tell him to do some jumping jacks and get back on the field. The same thing happened with Radu Dragusin in the previous medical team. How is that an ACL injury? I've never seen it happen with any other player who's had an ACL injury, where they've been told, let's just give it a go. I know with ACL injuries, you don't necessarily know it's a tear straight away, right? You have that ability to get up, jump, walk around for a bit, but it's so unsustainable. You see the way the player landed, the player's foot landed. It was an ACL injury no matter what there. I think it could be partially the medical team. I don't think I want to solely blame them because we've had the changes and nothing's changed. Now, the second one is one that's making the rounds on social media at the moment. I don't know if this is something that's justified, but people are talking about the retractable pitch. Of course, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has a pitch which can go out to cater for concerts, for entertainment events, much similar to the new Santiago Bernabeu as well. And that's where a lot of this idea comes from. Real Madrid have equally seen ACL injuries go up last season. They had about 3 just within last season, similar to Tottenham Hotspur this season. So people are thinking they're the 2 clubs with retractable stadiums. We moved into the stadium in 2019. Initially, the injury, we didn't have too bad of injuries. People do forget Conte and Mourinho did have sort of mini crises, similar to Ange's first season. So nothing like we've seen in the last 2 years, but similar to Ange's first season where they had a lot of players drop out essentially due to injury quite quickly. It's gotten worse since then. So many would look at it and say, oh, you know what? The stadium wasn't an issue then. Why would it be an issue now? But I actually think that strengthens the argument for it being the stadium, because the longer the players are on it, the more accustomed the players are to the retractable pitch. So when we go away from home, we're really struggling. And most of our injuries do happen away from home. It's not at home, actually, which is the concerning part, because to me, that means, okay, the players' knees essentially in game day situations are used to that retractable pitch. And that adds a bit of a challenge, because when they go away, that's where their knees aren't able to adjust and aren't able to be strong enough to maintain themselves in there. We train on a normal grass pitch. Again, these are all theories, right? I feel like we need to at least do an investigation into it. I don't know what the solution is if it is that, which is a bit scary, because if it is that, what the fuck do? We can't just drop the stadium. Can we somehow make it that we don't have a retractable pitch? The club would never do that because the revenues are way too high. So that's a scary reality, is if it is the pitch, then what the hell do we do? I don't want to say it with full certainty, but I think it's a contributing factor, to be honest. And the final reason that I'm going to be exploring is one that people talked about a lot under Ange Postecoglou, but funnily enough, not under Thomas Frank, since he caused the injuries, but the tactics. Now, many blamed Ange Postecoglou's high pressing, high intensity, gung-ho football, as they call it, on our injuries. And I actually agree. As much as I'm a fan of Ange Postecoglou, I do agree that it made a difference and made an impact on the injuries, but I don't think it was just because of his tactics necessarily. I think it's more based on the fact that our club have gone 180 degrees every single managerial appointment we've had. We went from Antonio Conte, very defensive style, quite low intensity, very much waiting on the opportunity to come. We then went to Ange Postecoglou, who's the complete opposite. High pressing, high intensity, gung-ho football, as people call it, and did involve quite a lot of kilometers covered in a game. So it's a very, very much different intensity. To then shift back to Thomas Frank, who is low intensity, low distance covered. It's a lot of pass backwards, pass, wait for the opportunity, which is fine. But it means that the players aren't at that same level of intensity again. And defensively, we would literally sit as deep as possible. It was waiting for the other team to attack. Again, not much intensity in the press. And then now we flipped again and gone Roberto De Zerbi, which is where we've seen even more injuries come through. So again, I'm not saying this is the sole reason, but I think the managerial changes are a massive contributing factor as well. The fact we've gone 180 to 180, if we went from Ange to Roberto De Zerbi, for example, I don't think we see the injuries happen this season, because the intensity is there. The players have adjusted to it. We finally saw towards the end of last season those injury crises really warm up. We didn't have as many. And then we come to this season. We had the injury crisis. We had players returning in March. And then, of course, not to say we didn't have to change the football style. I think we absolutely had to. We needed to go to De Zerbi's football. But that quick 180 direction, no preseason, nothing, meant that, again, the injuries have ramped right back up for him. He's only been in charge for about 3 games, and he's seen probably 6 injuries already. So that 180 flip is just it's not doing us any favors at all, to be honest with you. And I think that's a contributing factor, and probably the biggest contributing factor amongst the three that I've spoken about today. So that is what I think the three main reasons for our injury crises have been. Firstly, we're looking at that medical team and questioning what is the expertise there? Where have we got it wrong? Secondly, the pitch. I don't know what we do. Firstly, is it the pitch? How do we investigate that? How do we do some research into it? Pay someone to do it somehow. I don't know. But if it is, it's kind of scary because I don't know what the hell we do to get out of this if it is the stadium, because we're not going to sell the stadium. We're not going to get rid of the retractable pitch. Can we do anything? I don't think so. So, Vinay, I need you to work that out for me, buddy. And then the last one is the 180-degree changes on manager. That one, I don't think will happen anymore. I really like De Zerbi's style. If he saves us from relegation and sticks around, I think he's a great manager going forward for us. I think we'll see a lot less injuries going into next season because of that alone. Maybe we'll have a crisis similar to Andrew's first season or Conte and Mourinho's seasons, where it was reasonably similar numbers and a lot lower numbers than what we've seen in the last two seasons. But look, let me know. Do you think we can get out of it? Let me know what you think if it is the stadium. What the hell can we do as a club if it is actually Tottenham Hotspur Stadium / White Hart Lane that's causing this? Let me know your thoughts on the injury crisis. Where will we finish the season even with the injuries? Honestly, at this point, I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we just have to do anything we can to save ourselves. But thanks again for watching Spurs Speak with Cash. Make sure to like, comment, let me know your thoughts. Comment what else you want to see. Let me know what else you want me to analyze, because I'm ready to analyze. It's one of my favorite things to do. And make sure to subscribe. Most of you viewers aren't subscribed. It's a button right next to the like or comment. You've already clicked on the video. To be honest, if you zoom out of this video, or if you're just looking at this video, you'll see the subscribe button. Just click on it there. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.